But I want to address specifically the issue of public participation, public input. And here's what we're going to do for tonight. People who want to comment on any of the action items that are listed on the agenda, and we have a packed agenda. You'll be invited to speak right after I finish here. If you have general comments to make on anything else, you will be able to speak after the business of the agenda is finished. I'm going to ask for allow 1 hour total of input tonight. And this is in order to let us get the business that we have to get done for this city. In order to give as many people as possible a chance to speak, we'll go with 3 minutes per speaker. And I'll be making some recommendations for actually changing city code in the future. The other thing I want to address is the tenor, the tone, and the nature of the comments. I want to ask, and I will insist that comments be addressed to the issues and to the city council as a whole. If you cannot direct comments toward individually elected officials, city staff, volunteer members of boards and commissions, or other citizens. It's just not appropriate. And if you engage in this behavior, particularly negative comments, I will mute and we'll move on. And this is not the environment that we have encouraged at Urbana City Council, and it is not the environment that we can have continue. We need to be able to have respectful and open and discussions directed at the issues. And as well, we're all exhausted. This is an exhausting experience, and I'm asking your cooperation in not making it worse. So keep your comments directed toward the issues, keep them to 3 minutes tonight. We'll have a total of 1 hour, and we will get to the business of this meeting.
What I would like to address in my comment is GARE. I think is that resolution or discussion point number 3?
That's a discussion item, which is not an action item. Did you want to comment on an action item?
I see. I don't think so. Does that mean my comment goes to the end of?
Yes.
Comment?
Yes.
Okay.
Principle number 2 says that all persons should be treated with dignity and respect. From the findings and presentation by Hillard Hines last week, it didn't seem like much thought was given to the dignity and respect of Aaliyah Lewis.
Ms. Chong, your comments need to be directed toward action items on the agenda.
It is, just wait for it. Most of the related documents from the Hillard Hines review are still kept from the public, and correct me if I'm wrong, City Council members. Who are the special people who have access to these documents?
I think we're off topic, Mayor.
Anything else on the SROs? That seems to be your link to this.
My point is if there's no transparency, which if you didn't let me even get through it, the same issue applies to the SROs. So far, the discussion has just been public complaining, bringing up issues about the SROs, but I don't see any transparency in the process. And you are not allowing me to talking about transparency. So am I going to get to complete it later in the day?
No, you have 30 seconds left.
I'm going to say that even elected representatives have expressed frustration that you, Mayor Marlin, and city staff have finalized issues before even getting to the voting process.
Please keep your comments directed toward the issues.
Well, I guess you're censoring the public now.
Diane, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
Are people going to be able to speak at both? Because if they're not, we should probably let them know if they can speak at both.
No, you get to speak once during a meeting. That has always been the case at Urbana City Council meetings.
Mayor Marlin, I really hope you check with the city lawyer before deciding you're going to cut off public input and decide the terms by which I am allowed to exercise my constitutional right to free speech. The response from Dennis Roberts in regards to a contact we had.
Mr. Stone, are you speaking to an agenda item?
Now, this is not about an agenda item, and you are not allowed to dictate that, Mayor Marlin. Are you?
Yes,
You are
I am.
not. Stop interrupting me. You cannot just cut us off.
You've been asked to address a specific agenda item at this part of the meeting.
Hi, Diane, are there more than 20 persons wishing to speak tonight?
We don't know yet. Mr. Hanson, you can begin. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, well, the city code, the law says 5 minutes. And my second question is, did you guys vote to add an agenda item to the end of the meeting, another public input period? Did I miss that?
It's going, we've always had the option of distributing public input. The presiding officer has that option. So if you want to speak to an agenda item, please do so.
Okay, I'm definitely going to speak to an agenda item, so I'll speak now.
Okay.
Okay, so can you reset the timer, please?
No, you've got 2 minutes and 28 seconds left.
City staff and elected officials frequently choose to lie about contentious issues or
Mr.
just
Hanson, please address the issue.
Yeah, I'm getting
personal attacks on people.
I haven't mentioned anyone's name. Frequently choose to lie about contentious issues or just ignore the issues instead of acknowledging and correcting misconduct. So when you have dishonest conversations, rather than acknowledging and correcting the misconduct, the result is that you aggravate the public, who are actually much smarter than you give them credit for. So the public comes back every meeting more upset than the last, and we do this over and over. So now the mayor is making content-based speech restrictions at public meetings, and she thinks this is going to make things better, but it's actually going to backfire, and the city's relationship with the public is going to become much worse. So it is really the mayor and the staff that are making things worse because they refuse to recognize misconduct and they refuse to take responsibility for their actions. And just so we're clear what we're talking about here, for the past few months, we've had city staff flagrantly violating public records laws. They're making criminals of themselves.
Mr. Hanson, what is your agenda item?
I'm getting there. SROs, meaning, and no one's going to follow it because, I mean, even the 10 shared principles mentions transparency twice, but then Urbana just started violating all the public records laws. So I don't see any meaning in any of this. I think you probably shouldn't vote for this GARE thing because I think it probably actually destroys the conversation going forward because you get the feeling that you've done something.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Your time is up.
Requiring the public to restrict their comments to either agenda action items or other issues, while at the same time giving us an either or time slot to do so, imposes unreasonably convoluted barriers to free speech.
But then you said by doing so would be big government to potential
targeted conversation, Diane?
Pardon?
Is he targeting one individual U.S. people?
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, largely, I want to express my disgust at the treatment of those who wish to provide input. I want to remind the council that you're here to serve the community. It's the job, and any censoring of public comment goes in direct opposition of that. Moving comment to the end of a meeting, specifically stretching to 11 p.m. is an obstacle for many and discouragement of community voice. There are so many people here who are working night and day to make meaningful change in our community. As a member of that community, I'm grateful and awe-stricken at their commitment, and you should be as well. The public is engaged, and it's going to remain engaged. You should welcome and encourage that engagement. The outcome, if you continue your current path of censorship and intolerance, will be growth in the hostile relationship between a city's government and its people. It's not good for you, it's not good for members of the community, and it's not good for the city of Urbana.
Okay, that completes public input from everyone. Has had an opportunity to speak once tonight, and with no further business before this council, this meeting is adjourned.